location this week because the gardening took away my shade over there. So let's see. It's good, I think. A little bit of brightness behind me there, but I tried to check ahead of time with my phone, but if I move over this way a little bit. I liked my old spot. It got ruined. Oh! This chair like sunk in the ground. A little better. Dirt in my shoes. Well, don't know about this location. I mean, lighting is okay, but this could be better. I gotta work on this. So, it's not on the ground. Oh, that's fun. Neighbor noise. Well, it was a child crying a couple minutes ago. It may rain, I don't know. I brought an umbrella, but I am under trees, so we'll see. Oh, they've got like a power tool over there. That's cool. I hope this mic is good enough. How's it sounding? I've got wind too. Might not be easy today. Well, I do my best. Let's see. It's not showing me who's in here. I don't want to like switch to the chat here, but I'm not. Say hello if you're out there. It said there are a couple people waiting. Yeah, get started in a minute. And oh, I forgot my phone again with my clock on it. But let's just hope the neighbors don't get too noisy and that we can successfully read a whole chapter and you can hear it. So, I looked ahead in the book and there are 24 chapters, I believe, so it's chapter 7. Got a ways to go. I almost kind of think I should do it twice a week or something. It's going to take half a year. Yeah, I still don't have a plan for the winter unless I can maybe get a space heater for that veranda because it's not closed in. It's very... Hello, wet and windy. Yes, it's wet and windy here too. I did a video that'll go live tonight after this. And oh my gosh, I was fighting. I had to keep waiting for the wind. And you'll see in the background it's a bit windy. Morning, evening here. Yeah, and then I was like, oh no, it's starting to rain. I have to beat the rain because I don't want to come out and have to redo everything. So that's been this week. Yes, you're on time. It's almost time to start now. Yes, wet and windy. I want more sun. I want more sun. I think soon I might get to go to the beach. Thank you. Yeah, I did this like Dorothy thing. If you go to my TikTok, it's Kendall Brenneman. I don't know. I just felt like doing this Wizard of Oz thing, and I had my bangs in it too. But I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cute. I'm not sure at what age you should stop putting your hair in pigtails, but I don't know. Forever young, you know. I think I can get away with it up to my 60s at least, right? We'll see. You could look cool with gray or white hair. Okay, I hope that does not continue the entire time. That's annoying, and I hope that's not too loud. That is a neighbor, and I can't do anything about it. I didn't know they were going to do that. Why I want to be far, far away, with acres of land around me. Okay, so we'll get started reading now. Let's see. Let me sit back and be so far away. The ground is very mushy. Now I can sit back and kick it. All right, we'll start reading, and then I got my cigarettes here. I forgot I was going to get some different ones at the store, and I've never bought them before, so I just forgot. I'm going to ask my boyfriend to pick some up for me when he goes to the store. I did order some different herbs. I looked up, what herbs are smokable and what kind of effects do they have? I mean, other than, marijuana. So I ended up ordering like 5 different herbs to make my own herbal blend. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll make different ones for different moods. I'm gonna make one with some lavender in it. I thought that might be fun. It's like smoking tea. All right, starting chapter 7 now. Gotta get into... By the way, there's another video after this at 6 o'clock. I made a fun little video as Audrey. Still working. Honestly, I'm not satisfied with my accent. I'm trying to put my finger on it, trying to figure it out and how to do it. And you get it right and you're like, oh, that was right. And then you have to kind of remember how that felt to do it again and remember that, you know, to get that same sound. And it's difficult. And I keep working on it. So, fun video. Still not happy with its accent, but I keep working. Practice makes perfect. I hope we get as close as we can. So, all right, let's see. This one's fun. They start talking more. That was the thing about this book. Like, they don't talk a lot in the first couple chapters. Microphone. The letter from the mother house did not explain why Sister Luke was not to be sent directly to the Congo. She was to be attached for an indefinite time to the mental diseases sanatorium run by her order in southern Belgium. She told herself that her diploma in psychiatric nursing must be the reason for her assignment, that the Superior General doubtless wished her to have actual practice in medical nursing so as to make her more valuable in the Congo service. She reread in her tropical medicines text the pages on tropical neurasthenias and mental changes resulting from pellagra, and tried to persuade herself that she was guessing rightly about something she had no right to even guess about. In the convent you went where you were told to go. She could not resist asking Sister Pauline on their last recreation together if there was much insanity in the Congo. Sister Pauline was a changed woman since she had received her diploma. All the vinegar had gone out of her face. Everybody is a little crazy in the Congo, my sister, she said. There is something about the country itself that deranges. Sorry to anyone in the Congo. The grandeur of everything, the tremendous horizons. Ah, those horizons. But of course that is not what you asked. Her face, when she talked about the land to which she was returning, made Sister Luke think of the photographs in the Convent magazine of nuns returning for their 2nd or 3rd tour of duty in the missions, grouped under captions, Deuxième départ, Troisième départ. The white-bibbed bust capped stiffly with coifs framed... The white-bibbed busts capped stiffly with coifs framed faces of such sudden life as to give the impression that the departing ones had thrust them through a hole in the paper to look at you with a secret smile. I shall light a cigarette. Do, do, do. Oh, lipstick. Not doing it. Oh dear. Okay. Little windy. There's not much insanity as we know it, said Sister Pauline. I would say that our natives are more normal than any race on earth, except when they drink the mysterious beer they brew from roots, maybe manioc. No one knows for sure, and no one can ever find out. Then sometimes they go berserk, and if they cannot dance it off. Oh, dancing, I miss dancing. She paused as if she heard the drums. There was that secret smile. Then she went on. They call it Simba, though it is nothing at all like the famous Simba beer the Belgians brew in the Katanga. Only the name's the same. Simba, lion in their language. Simba, said Sister Luke. Her first word in Kiswahili was as easy as a sigh to say. She left the pensionnat directly from the refectory after breakfast. Farewells were never said in the convent except by the Mother Superior, who always accompanied the departing one to the door of the house and there gave her benediction. But the nuns nevertheless made little signs to her as she passed, discreet hand waves when the Superior's back was turned, and smiles that said very clearly, "We shall miss you." Mother Marcella embraced her on both cheeks just inside the front door, the first time anyone had touched her since the sisterly embraces at vesture. She knelt for the benediction. Then the Superior opened the door, looking out to see if the chaperone was there, and smiled farewell. Someone's passing in the back. Sorry. I'm on camera here, so wave hello to the internet. Hiding in the woods. Can I edit that out? I don't know. I think I can. That's my... Never mind. Her chaperone was one of the odd little ladies who lived like swallows in the crannies of all the convent houses, except the mother house. They were all elderly and without family. Considered by the order too sprightly to be relegated to the old folks' home, they were permitted to live with the nuns and perform light tasks, such as chaperoning them to and from the dentist, fetching stamps or something from the pharmacy, or sitting by the telephones when the nuns were all in the chapel. The worst luck today. They had their food, their tiny rooms, and they were provided with black garments, which they wore like a uniform of gentility. Most of all, they liked to chaperone a nun through city streets. In their eyes, the sisters were the salt of the earth, and they showed this by their constant surveillance of them in public. One called Sophie had a taxi already summoned. She looked to see if Sister Luke had on her black gloves for travel, smoothed her own, which were exactly like those the nuns wore, and opened the taxi door. Sophie instructed the driver to take the shortest route to the railroad station. No roundabouts for us who are vowed to poverty, said her sharp eyes, watching the taximeter. Taximeter? That's better. At the station, Sophie signaled her to wait by the door while she queued up for a ticket. She watched the old lady elbow her way ahead of two stragglers in the line so as to get her nun onto the train in time to find a window seat in the crowded third class. Sophie was happily unaware that nuns always found seats in trains. Hoping to shield from the wind. I don't know. The habit, the exterior sign, made people draw away from you, preferring to sit anywhere than beside a nun. Sometimes when incoming passengers looked into the compartment and saw you sitting there, they did not bother to lower their voices when they said, "Not here, there's a black crow," as they walked past. To be called a black crow always gave Sister Luke a little twist of pain. Her new madhouse world, hidden away in a corner of Belgium, might have been not only on another continent like the Congo, but even on another planet, so strange and unearthly were all its sights, sounds, and customs. It was a self-sustaining village-sized enclosure, surrounded by high walls, inside of which prowled the female inmates, muttering and cursing, the charity cases in their subdivision crying, "I spit on you," to the tallest nuns Sister Luke had ever seen, and the paying cases in their section calling their habited guardians species of crow, species of sorceress. Except for the dangerously demented, nobody here was physically restrained. Okay. It's just one thing after another here. Okay, good. Not sure how it sounds. Be nice to have like a monitor. Be cool. I can do it with my Rode mic. I can plug in a headset, but this not so much. Well, nah, probably not. And then I just look weird. Mm. Why now? Okay. The superior, Mother Christophe, was a magnificent nun, an Englishwoman in the prime of life. She ruled her inverted world of 1,000 deranged females and 100 overworked nuns with courage and poise. She never dramatized, always minimized, and taught her nuns to do likewise. She herself conducted Sister Luke through the many installations and gave in fluent French, with a very engaging accent, the facts and figures of her domain and the names and peculiarities of every patient they met en route. Sister Luke's first impression of a new community was that everyone in it was larger than life and had the most dominating eyes she had ever looked into. Hi. Every nun's eyes looked up and out, which in itself was such a reversal of cloister practice as to make their habits seem like masquerade. Their attention to exterior signs, sounds, and changes of sounds was developed to a phenomenal degree, since their very lives depended on sharp and constant observation. Suddenly she understood a thing that had puzzled her since her novitiate days in the mother house. Oh, good, it's gone. When outside nuns had come there for a retreat, the local sisters had always been able to point out the alienist to the young ones, saying, "That one and that one come from our insane asylum." Their sharp attention to every sound and movement around them set them apart from sisters whose lives had been spent suppressing exteriorized awareness. In the mother house refectory, she remembered how when a fork was dropped, theirs were the only eyes that turned to the source of the sound. The practical lay nurses who assisted them had the same sharp observation. They looked like female giants, stout farm girls trained by the nuns but not diplomaed in psychiatry. 2 of them were with every nun in the gardens, standing nearby with arms folded, while she controlled and kept at a distance with a level stare the wild-eyed women who cursed them with the voices of importuning lovers. "Our practical nurses," said Mother Christophe, "can stand only a 4-hour shift, but our sisters take unlimited duty, sometimes remaining for 8 or 10 hours at a stretch with brief relief from meals and prayer." They started with a tour of the observatoire, where all incoming patients were kept for a week or 2 under observation until the type and extent of the derangement were known. Here were the top alienists of Belgium, which, in case you don't know, is like a psychiatrist. I wasn't quite sure. I looked that up just to be certain. Ooh, too deep. Many of them known by name to Sister Luke. From there, Mother Christophe led her to the pavilion of the paying patients, mentioning names that could be found in the Almanach de Gotha. Each of the non-dangerous, alcoholics, epileptics, and semi-agitated, had a special apartment luxuriously furnished. Sister Luke looked at a baroness peaceably eating the geraniums in her window box, and heard her superior calmly say, "We'll plant others tomorrow." In another apartment, a young woman was on her knees, eating from a plate on the floor. "That is the Countess de V," said Mother Christophe. "She thinks she's a dog and will not touch food unless it is given to her on that coarse dish, which must always be placed on the floor. She's a brilliant woman otherwise, as you will discover. You will be attached to this pavilion." Beyond the private apartments, but part of the wing, was a long corridor of padded cells for the dangerous lunatics. Each cell had an inch-thick window which louvered open, with louvered opening at the top. The superior spoke to those who looked out on them as they passed. This one, she said, indicating a handsome blonde whose china blue eyes smiled sweetly at her, thinks she is Archangel Gabriel, and we call her that. Bonjour, Archange. Yeah, still fumbling over some of the French. These are words I never use in French. She said, when they had moved on, she said, "You may never enter that cell alone, always 2 or 3. At the end of the long corridor of padded cells were the bathrooms, where the major treatment of the violent cases was given. Through the hermetically sealed windows, Sister Luke looked upon a purgatorial scene. There were 12 tubs in the room, each covered by a stout canvas or by a wooden hatch that screwed down, each cover with a hole at one end through which protruded a madwoman's head. A dull, subhuman roar could be heard through the small hole in the door, into which fitted the triangular notched key that opened all the knobless doors in this section. A single nun sat in the middle of the bath scene watching the 12 tubs. "When we go in," said Mother Christophe, "you'll not be able to hear me. This is the treatment for our dangerously demented. We coat them with Vaseline and put them in water, maintained automatically at constant temperature, and keep them there according to doctor's orders, 4 to 8 hours a day, I think." Yep. That was too much again. Because the atmosphere in there is so disturbing, we want to provide an occasional relief for the sister, who often stays on for 8 or 10 hours. This is why we needed you. You are momentarily the only sister in transit who possesses the degree in psychiatry necessary for working in this community. "I understand, ma mère," said Sister Luke. She tried to keep her sudden relief from showing. Mother Christophe read instantly the emotion she had not concealed. "You are still very young to go to the Congo," she said, "though we know your heart is already there." Her pleasant tone showed she held no rancor for having had to receive a reluctant nun. "Our Reverend Mother Emmanuel perhaps would not have spared you to us had you been a little older, a little more in the mould. This vineyard, meanwhile, will be an excellent proving ground." The superior opened the door. The total lamentations were now loosed in the room. It was almost impossible to believe that only 12 maniacs could produce those waves of singing, cursing, and praying that mounted in crazy laughter, broke and began again, with rhythmless, terrible beat, without end. Sister Luke looked at the back of the seated nun, who could endure 8 or more hours, seated up with insanity in this humid, tiled room. It sounds terrible. The nun, following the movements of eyes in the tubs, turned, stood up, and made her deep, hand-crossing bow to her superior. The antique salutation, so full of grace, stopped the howls from the tubs for an instant, while the wild eyes watched. Then the howling resumed, while the nun wrote her name on a slip of paper and showed it with a smile to Sister Luke. Sœur Marie de Jésus. Jésus, right? Jesus. Jésus. Was written on the paper in a script as delicate as Valencian lace. A chic type, Sister Luke thought, with a courage beyond anything I've seen. She felt an instant bond with the tall nun standing beside her, with her eyes ever on the neck holes of the tub covers, turning only for an instant to the paper on which she wrote, "They try for ways to suicide. That thumping you hear is their heels beating up and down. They beat their heels raw and feel nothing." Sister Luke could not hear the drumming heels. Sister Marie led them to the door and let them out with her skeleton key, locking herself in with her maniacs and their terrible cries. Only a nun could do it, Sister Luke thought. The comparative silence of the padded cell corridor made her ears ring. The Archangel Gabriel thrust her face against the glass and called out, "Au revoir, chérie," as she went by. It was so long since she had been called chérie that she blushed. She was trembling when she emerged from the pavilion. There was a flicker of the odd presentiment she always had when death was near. The specialized awareness was something she had known ever since she could remember, and it often made trouble for her with doctors when their diagnoses were hopeful, and she would shake her head and say, "If you will excuse me, doctor, I believe we should call a priest." She looked at the 12-foot fence surrounding the begonia beds in the private patients' gardens and saw them sauntering about and thought, "There are a dozen people in this place who could die at any moment." She tried to shake off her foreboding, but the great dark eyes of Sister Marie and the china blue eyes of the patient called Archangel Gabriel remained in her thoughts. She remembered this afterwards. She had already met 2 of the 3 persons who were going to live indefinitely in her memory, though one of them was to die. The 3rd was the tall elderly woman with heavy ankles coming toward them now through the begonia beds. Who's going to die? Any guesses? The woman had a brown paper bag on her head. Her walk caught Sister Luke's attention even more than the bag. It was the convent walk, swayless and smooth. The patient advanced with downcast eyes in imitation of a nun approaching a superior. That, of course, was one of the faculties of the deranged, she recalled, as she watched the perfect imitative reverence the madwoman made to Mother Christophe. When the patient looked up, her face under the brown paper bag had the gentleness of a child's, and, like a child's, was without crease or crow's foot. "That was the abbess," said Mother Christophe afterwards. "She is an easy patient so long as you keep her supplied with paper bags. She wears one summer and winter, day and night." Sister Luke ventured a comment. "One would imagine, ma mère, that she had been a nun." "She was," said the superior. "She is laicized now, of course. Once she was an abbess in a contemplative order." Sister Luke cast a startled look back at the paper-coiffed woman who had once been a living rule. The abbess had a finger to her lips as a fellow inmate chattered at her. She was maintaining the rule of silence. Sister Luke became used to it after a while. She learned that sedatives were to be given only as a last resort and then as sparingly as possible, that the approach even to a dangerous patient was through gentle persuasive reasoning, and that everything they did was to be accepted as if it were normal. She accustoms her... What kind of face did I just make? She accustomed herself to praying in chapel with her eyes wide open when it was her turn to chaperone inmates to Mass, and she learned to use her eyes as her experienced sisters did, like swiveling lenses that moved from antic to antic, suppressing by anticipation the attention-getting tricks of her charges without having any of those queer gyrations enter into her brain as impressions calling for action. I'll get another one. I like it out here. It's so nice. I really need to spend more time out here. Of course, with the wind and the rain, it's a little difficult. Oh, I'm so glad it didn't rain. There was an alert saying it might drizzle, but if it did, we missed it. That's great. It's peaceful. It took her some time to know all her sisters, since half of them slept by day in this racked world that had to have wide-awake eyes upon it 24 hours around the clock. She often looked for the enlarged moth eyes of Sister Marie, but that brave one was switched to night duty shortly after her arrival, and it was a month before she encountered her again, except in the recreation room conversations. When Sister Marie returns to day duty, the nuns told her, then none other of us needs to sit in the patients' section in chapel. You know she is there with them and that nothing can happen. It was in her eyes, she said. She had only to look at a madwoman making ready to fling into song at the elevation, and the impulse died under her gaze. She never said no to a patient who wished to go to Mass. She believed that mere exposure to the Holy Eucharist helped in some way the human wrecks she cared for. And she would sit with 20 or 30 of them, and not a sound would ever be heard, except the cracking of the joints of the old ones as they flung their arms into the air in ecstatic imitation of the priestly gestures at the altar. Mother Christoph permitted her nuns to talk shop in the recreation long enough for them to unwind from the tensions of the day, but not long enough to become involved in the more bizarre half of the double lives they led. Sister Luke followed the talk with burning interest, except for her few visits to the recreation in the pensionnat. This was her first real experience of a recreation with living rules. She discovered that they had specialties in their perfecting, some concentrating on the poverty vow, some on obedience, and some on charity. It was odd to hear them speak of these ancient struggles in self-perfecting, almost in the same breath with which they discussed aspects of precocious dementias, responses to delusional systems, and all the types of hallucinations which they had to seem to share with their patients in order to be able to reason with them. This ideal of trying to reason with lesioned brains seemed to Sister Luke in the beginning almost a folly in itself. The toll it took from the nuns was never visible when she was working with them in the wards, where lunatic eyes were upon them all. But in the evenings when they appeared in recreation, their faces were as bleached as their coifs, and, except for their powerful eyes, seemed to be of a piece with them. Her father would have called it nonsensical to spend so much energy on their cases, when one round of hypos would have done the trick with quieting. But she reminded herself that was not the way of nuns, who believed that in each mumbling human vegetable they tended, there lived a soul undamaged which might, just possibly, be reached through patience, courage, and constant care. In such a setting, until you become accustomed, the weekly culpa sounded like something being read off a crumbling parchment from the Middle Ages. A walk with precipitation, when a mad woman was pursuing you, was still a walk with precipitation. To be proclaimed in open session before all your sisters, along with the vainglory and overconfidence which had got you into that situation in the first place. A meditation missed because a patient had you locked in the bathroom of her private apartment was your imperfection for forgetting the nearness of meditation time when you entered that apartment, knowing from experience the time-consuming strategies required to effect a quiet exit. No nun, of course, ever gave the reasons for lateness or obligations missed, but you knew them when the low voices named the faults, cutting them clean from a context to which you had often been a startled witness. Every Wednesday and Friday night in the nuns' dormitory, the senior began the miserere after lights out, but only in the first days. When you heard the clink of chains, you knew you were falling over bare backs in this place of so many other sacrifices. Did you think that you were listening and contributing to the sound of excess, pure, heroic, and unique in a modern world that elsewhere chose the careful middle way of tepid souls? The familiar cloister assumed only briefly the aspect of a living museum, conserving the penitential ways of mankind when Christ was nearer. Then, like the hallucinations you dealt with daily, the troubling vision faded. You swung your scourge, thought of your sins, and murmured the psalm through to the final lines. Then shalt thou accept the prescribed sacrifices, oblations, and holocausts. After which you could put your discipline back into its leather bag and climb onto your straw sack to the great reward of closing your eyes. And that is the end of chapter 7. It's getting interesting. Oh, is that a shorter chapter? It was only like a half hour to read. Interesting. It was about 11 pages long, so not that short. Oh, look, there is a cat, and it's not mine, because mine... Hello! Hey! There's like this tiger cat just wandering by. The black and white cat's my friend. She would come over. And my cats do not go out yet. Where are you going? You're not going to say hi? You might walk behind me. I try to make friends with all the cats. There are a couple around. Where'd you go? You disappeared. We have to figure out how to let the cats out because we don't have a cat door and can't really put it into an old door. So might use a tiny window through the bathroom. I want them to go outside and enjoy this. This is cat heaven. Anyway, I'll light one more. I guess it might be a shorter one tonight. I should have timed that and then maybe, because I read it earlier today. I try to read it ahead, see what's in there, see what I can't pronounce, know what's going on. I should time them. And then on the shorter ones, maybe I could do 2 chapters. If you like. Si tu veux. No? Where he went? I don't want to start a forest fire. Oh, be careful. Whew. So, chat time. Hi. What's new? It's been, yes, wet and windy here too. Windy still, as you can tell. Hoping for some good weather. I'll spend more time outside. Reading other books. To DM me. Instagram. Instagram's probably best because I'm never remembering to check the other folder on Facebook, so that takes me a while. So, Kendall in Wonderland, Facebook or Instagram. Should be easy to find me there. That's probably the easiest, yeah. My gardener friend, yes, was my boyfriend's father. He was doing something over there, and I guess I didn't tell him I was in the forest. I didn't think he'd be in the forest or woods or whatever. Yes. Just doing some garden work. I should check on my plants. My what am I growing? Cucumbers and celery. It's a small garden. And my blueberries keep getting picked off by birds. I think I need a net. And there's a plum tree, and I ordered some neem so I can spray some neem on it because the bugs are getting the plums, and I'd kind of like to rescue some. Last year I completely just missed them. I had 1 plum and then they were gone. And I'm super into the herbalism now and stuff. I need more freezer space. Guitar. You know, I haven't practiced in a while. I had been practicing, I was trying to practice daily to learn Moon River, which somehow is a little difficult for my fingers. But I got caught up with like the visit back home, and then, I don't know. Yeah, I need to get back to that. Because I'd like to learn how to play Moon River and some other things. I've just been busy with so many things that, yeah, I just can't do everything. Doing these videos and diary things. I'm trying to make a deal with someone to buy a bunch of diaries from this one woman from the late 1800s into the 1900s. I have a lot of diary reading to do. Hopefully he'll sell them to me. But the music, yeah, I had to move my piano out of the room to make some space for my little couch. And my guitar is kind of in a corner, and I want to spend more time with that. For some reason, I always feel like playing it like in the morning, but everyone else is asleep, and that's just not a good time. Unless maybe I go in the attic or something. I can't wait to have my own house. I mean, I like this place, but just to be free to do everything I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. Can't wait. I do whatever I want in the garden. We'll see. Yeah. What else? What else is new? I'm excited about the little video that's gonna pop up on YouTube at 6 o'clock. And I'm going to put a shorter version on TikTok and put some pictures on Instagram. It's kind of fun. And if you like it, let me know, because I can do a part 2. What else? Do I like it? I don't know, it depends. Well, it could also be the brand of cigarette, and I will try a different brand. I will ask him to pick it up for me this next week. I'm kind of excited to try making my own herbal blends. Looking into these herbs that kind of give different relaxation properties, or even slightly hallucinogenic. No, not what's the word? What is it? Mugwort, I think I ordered. So I kind of look forward to that. I mean, it's kind of relaxing in a way. I mean, for me, the main draw of it would basically be being present. I mean, you kind of have to stop and go outside, which I don't do enough, and I should just do with a book or something, or just stand outside. I think that's what I enjoy about it. If I was going to pick something, that go outside with it, and you're focused on the breathing and just being focused, and you're not working on something. I mean, I'm reading, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really like these Lucky Strike things. I think I prefer my tobacco and nicotine-free ones. It's just lighter, and it doesn't give me this little buzz, which kind of throws me off with reading a little bit. I don't know. My brain skips a little bit on the words. I don't know if you can notice when I'm reading. Like, look back on this video. I should look. And the first cigarette was a herbal one. The second was a Lucky Strike, and I feel like my brain just kind of glitched. So that's not so fun. I like smoking my cannabis. It's relaxing. So I'll shove some of that into one of my biodegradable cigarette tubes. But yeah. It's just so nice out here. When I turn this off, I might just like sit here, check my email, or watch some bugs or something. There's some bugs. There was a slug. Where'd it go? He's quick. I don't see him. Try to find a cat. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else is new. Let's see. Okay, what is today? Okay, so next weekend I will be here. I think I will be here on each Saturday. I'm just thinking we might be going somewhere for a couple days. And if it does extend over a Saturday, I will let you know and just like change the day, maybe Sunday or something. Driving, yeah. Well, I failed twice, but I'm going to sign up with a different website and study harder. I kind of took like the week off because I couldn't even schedule an appointment anytime soon anyway. So I got to sign up for that website. I got to start studying hard again and then make another appointment. It's just going to take as long as it takes, I guess, because then I have the other part, the actual driving part, which has to go through a driving school, and the one I contacted didn't have any room, and for 4 months. So I'm going to have someone look into some other schools for me and figure out how to do this with spending the least amount of time and money at the driving school. I definitely want an hour or two in the car with someone who can like show me what to expect. I want to pass the test, but I don't need complete driving school because I can drive. It is a little different here, like the lines on the road, and there are things that we don't have in the U.S. here. All sorts of squiggles and what's that called? The right of way. The right has the right of way in these intersections. I mean, you kind of do that in the U.S., like someone to your right, if you both come to stop signs, then they go first, so it's like that. But here, they also have it so sometimes on just like straight roads, there's a road on the right side, and if it has a certain markings, you have to stop and let them go. Olympics? No, I'm not. I used to like, you know, did they do ice skating? No, I actually like never watched the Olympics. Once in a while I'll check a video online of, you know, the entertainment or something, but sports in general are not my thing. I think it's fun to do sports, some sports. Kind of like dancing. I hate saying that. Like I enjoy dancing more than watching people dance. And I enjoy playing sports, you know, for fun. More than watching people do any kind of sports. Roundabouts, yes. They're nice. They're nice. I get roundabouts now. I'm pretty good with roundabouts. But it's this, in France they called it like priorité à droite, like the priority of the right. So they do it there too, and that is tricky. So I spent a lot of time, I mean, I did slightly better on my second test after studying this, because I was really bad at this who has right of way. They're like, if a bus is here and a tram is here and a person's walking here and you're turning here and there's a cow here being led by a person, who has right of way? Label them by number. And I was really bad at that. So for the second test I took, I really studied up on that. So hopefully I will not get in a crash at any intersections now. But yeah, there were still some things I don't know. Priority right. What else? Yep, plenty of studying to do. I'll be very happy when I pass these tests, but you know, I'm just not going to be able to drive for a while, I guess. As if I wasn't, you know, isolated enough. Oh well, where would I go? A fabric store. Yeah. How are the Olympics going? Who's winning? What's going on? I read something about women in full body suits. It seems to be a thing. Good for them. What else? No, yeah, I haven't been keeping up with that. I've just been working on my little video this week, and reading, just all sorts of things. Working on some costumes. I have kind of an elaborate video in the works. I've been kind of putting it together for the past year. It's taking a while. And I have this beautiful Sabrina dress. Let's see. What is there? Oh, wait. Wait, do they have the priority to the right in England? Oh boy. I drove there once, like 2 years ago, and I was terrified. Terrified. I drove in there with my car, and as long as I was on the highway, I was like, okay, we're good. And then I got off. I was going to London, and there's a roundabout. I'm like, I just sorted these out. I just got my car in France, and I just learned how to do this in France, and now I have to do it backwards. Like, I have to go this way. I was like, I'm gonna die. So I got to London and told my friend, I'm not driving here again this whole month. I'm not driving. I'm parking the car. Not doing it. Yeah, that's it's windy. Yes. Although I really would love to spend more time in England, and I was actually asking my friend how it was between here and there, if I'm able to go, and I'll be vaccinated soon, and I'm kind of hoping maybe I can go visit London and some friends in England, because I need people who speak English. I would love to go for a little visit. We shall see. How many countries? I don't know. I would have to sit and count that. I mean, 2 years ago I went all the way kind of through Europe and went to France, Italy, Switzerland. I missed Belgium. Did I go to Germany? No, I didn't stop in Germany. Netherlands, the UK. What else is there? Might have been it last year. But I've been to Spain and Portugal, Canada, Panama, Costa Rica. A couple stops because I took this cruise from Panama to Portugal. So we stopped like 2 places in the Caribbean. China once. I haven't been over that way so much. I'd like to. But I have lots of traveling to make up for now. What I'd like to do is do another road trip down through Italy to see some people, and then over to Spain and Portugal. I did not do that on my road trip 2 years ago with my kitty cat. But I would love to do that. Boy, if I could do that this fall, I would be so happy. Thank you. Me too. This is kind of a new thing right now. Yeah, my Dorothy hair. So, all right. So I guess that's all for today. That was a shorter chapter. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Like I said, I mean, weather permitting, we've been real lucky. Yeah, we've got 24 chapters in this book, so I should probably see which chapters are shorter and try to combine them, just because it's going to take forever. So we'll see. But we're doing well. I'm enjoying it. And it gets me outside. So, yes, okay. Guess that's about it. Go check out my video that's about to get posted on YouTube in a couple minutes. Let me know what you think. Did the Audrey accent there too. I already know it's not perfect, but it's hard. I mean, like, it's funny. The accent itself, like, something about it is not hard, but then getting the right, into the right vocal register is hard. I feel like my voice is higher, and I've been trying to lower that anyway. Speak more from the diaphragm. So I sound like this all the time. No. But let me know what you think of that video. And any ideas for other videos, let me know. And oh, I'm so excited. I really, really hope I can get the final finishing touches on my Sabrina gown this coming week. I really, really hope, because I might have an opportunity to take some nice pictures in it. And I want to do a beautiful little video of it. It's just the most gorgeous gown. So I'm excited about that. And I think I'm going to have some good pictures soon if we do go away to this special place. Very excited about that. I'll have to think of some video I can do while I'm there too. Yeah, I gotta think about that. Okay, gonna end it now. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next week. Oh, don't forget, check out my buymeacoffee.com/KendallBrenneman if you want to donate, or if you want to hear me read from these old diaries. I've only posted one exclusive one up there so far, and I'm going to work on doing that at least like twice a month. But I need to get ahead in my reading and research on the people, so to do a good job. If you like hearing me read, no, I'm not smoking with those. Those are indoor, in my own voice. Although I think from the ones from England, I might try to do it in an English accent. We'll see. But we'll see. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. Goodbye for real now.